todo mi amor. Ella me ofreció su corazón, yo le di todo mi amor.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is another drawing class. And my page, Jade Leiva Art. I am Jade Leiva, and I am today so excited because I have as a guest a really good friend of mine. Her name is Catalina Maria Johnson, and I just adore her work and adore her as a person. She's really a wonderful human being. She has an amazing heart, and also she's a very, very talented person. She makes me proud of our shared Mexican heritage and by the work that she does and also by the beautiful human being that she is. And I'm very, very pleased to have her here. So I'm going to share with you really quick, just a quick teaser of her work in her website called Beat Latino. So just hang on a second. I'm going to show you just a little bit of her, what she does.
And this hour of Beat Latino is all about the women. Esta hora de Beat Latino es en celebración de las mujeres, del mes de las mujeres, del Día Internacional de las Mujeres. Comenzamos con Mujer Divina, Black Mamba Queen, the Divine Woman, Mujer Divina, here on Beat Latino.
Ella es una adicción, un poder sin control. Ella se viste como mujer, ella
Okay, everyone, that was a little bit of a teaser from one of her programs in her website, Beat Latino. So I'm going to welcome now Catalina. Let me see. Here we go.
Hey. Hola, hola. Jade, hola, Jade, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? So glad to be here. So glad to be here. And thank you for your very kind words. It's embarrassing, pero same. No, te quiero mucho. Yeah, we have a lot of commonalities. Viva Mexico, for sure. And just like a very, I think also common shared vision of how important it is to share the art, the immigrant art that comes to the country, not just talk about, immigrant labor, but talk about the gifts within that everyone brings and have enriched the land so much. And certainly, I don't want to move this because I'll probably mess something up, but there's a Jade Leiva behind me, and I have several of her wonderful pieces. I'm a very proud owner of, and so happy to have experienced her talents in so many ways. And it's great to be here. Me da muchísimo gusto estar aquí. Saludos en español. Vamos a estar haciendo como medio Spanglish.
Yeah, I love it because Spanglish is important because it's I did a survey recently just to see like what people were at, and I just wanted to sense like what people want to do and if they like hearing Spanish. Y me dijeron que les encanta escuchar español, inglés, hasta las personas que no hablan el español me dijeron que continuáramos haciéndolo en español. So yeah, it's a very nice thing that people who are in English speakers also like to hear both languages.
Yeah, and I think if you can, just to talk a little bit about my show and podcast, which actually airs in several cities, but then I put it on the website after it airs, and so it becomes sort of like a dual thing, a podcast and a show. I go back and forth. Toda la información se da en los dos idiomas, y así lo he hecho siempre. So you never get lost, you never lose any information, nunca se pierden de nada, but it's all there, quickly going back and forth because I didn't really want to do two separate shows. I wanted to just have one show where everybody could be included and just enjoy the music and know that they might not understand a couple of sentences, but it would come any minute. And now I've heard that Spanish language teachers use it in their classes because the students can go back and forth. So and learn Spanish. So that's exciting.
That is so cool, Catalina. Yeah, I was listening. I listen to your show when I'm painting and stuff. I just feel that like your work is so crucial regarding not only musically but culturally too. Like your taste is really amazing, and the way how you curate every show is just really incredible. Guys, check it out.
Oh,
Let me
thanks.
know.
Thanks.
It's so great.
It's not just, thank you. Because it's not just dedicated to like, the new releases. There's always a show about every month about new stuff, but mostly it's about cultural topics. And then the music goes from very, very cutting edge to very, not a lot of like super pop and mainstream, because they get the love anyway, but kind of like the indie, beyond emerging edge, but then also the classics, so to remind us that we don't do anything in a vacuum. Even like the most contemporary Latinx or Hispanic American or Ibero-American musician draws on this incredible legacy that came before her or him. So yeah.
Awesome, great. Yeah, I can't wait to hear some more. The thing is that I would love, Catalina has been, you guys, just to let you know, maybe you have heard in a few of the drawing classes that I did the whole time during COVID. Catalina did most of the drawing. She was a presence there. Yeah, that's one of the daffodils.
I love this one. Oops, this one. Esto, Viva Mexico. And today's, right? Where's today's? Yeah. Which we're going to. Yes. Yeah. Whoa. This is
that
a little.
Way, yes. Awesome. It turned out so beautiful, and we'll hang in there. Like at the end, we'll share with each other. We can share, like, what your thoughts about the mermaid and stuff.
I was gonna say. Not my coloring. I'm new to the coloring thing.
Yeah, right? One thing I want to show you before we get started, and we'll make conversation as we draw. So I want to show you. I don't know if you saw the coloring wheel.
I saw it, but I often catch up, like do 2, 3 at once. So yeah, I'm a little not caught up on the color end.
For this, actually, if you want me to, I can mail you a copy of this. It's a color wheel that we did just to have, like, we talked about like color contrast, and this is kind of interesting. The lighting is not very good because this one here, this right here is more green, more green than the yellow. But so pretty much what we thought about, like I was showing, because we're gonna get ready to start painting pretty soon. So I just want to start showing like the color theory on how to make contrast in an interesting picture when you are painting and adding color to a picture. So I was thinking about, I really like mermaids to be blue, or purple, like to have like their tail be purple. So the opposite color of that would be yellow or on the orange side. So it's always good to use contrasting colors to add interest to a photo. So your background should be the opposite color of your subject. So in this case, we can have, the tail, we can do it in the cool colors. We can do it like, if we want to do like the scales to be like different shades, we can do that. And I'll show you how as we start doing it. And then we can have like the background. We don't have to color the whole background because we don't have 2 hours. But that takes up a lot of your time. But we can do like sort of like an orangey shade. So we'll have her be like her tail, which is predominant in the picture, be as on the cool colors, and the background will be on the warm. So that way we can create a nice kind of like a feel of the picture. So and that's a thing that you see, like the painting that you have. I just posted it recently on my art page.
Yeah.
The paintings that you have, the woman they had the song within, and that was a painting that you can see her dress is red. And the background is blue. So that's one of the things that are really like contrasting colors, and that's something that is sort of thought out on purpose, so that way you have lots of interest, and it's more a stronger picture.
Wow.
All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, let's get started, Catalina. I'm gonna move the camera, and then we'll chat as we go.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm gonna move my camera over here. This is my very fancy. I call it rustic technology. There we go. This is my rustic technology program here. Okay, here we go. Can you see it okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna do one of the ideas that I had to color the tail, just because we have all of the detail on the little scales. I think you have several shades of blue, Catalina?
Yes, I have. I'm ready. That I got.
Awesome. Yeah, those are so cool. I want some of those. Those are great. So on the tail, I'm thinking like on the scales, we're gonna work on each one of them. We're gonna do a different shade.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna do the first one so that way you'll see sort of like what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go darker as we get to the top. So I'm gonna do like a couple lines with the lighter shade. Okay, that's a lighter, like a lighter blue, and then I'm gonna use a little bit of a darker blue. Let me see this one. This might be a little too dark. Well, that's okay. It's on the greenish side. I'm gonna do another line like that, and then I'm gonna do like a deep blue closer to the top. So there's gonna be quite a bit of detail, but you can start by doing it in series. So you can go on all the scales. You can do all the light blue part first. You know, and you'll see at the end when we're done with the scale, it'll look like it has like 3D.
Wow.
Sort of like a really nice effect because we're putting the darker part on the top. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just continue this, and then we'll go back and forth between the drawing part and the coloring part, and then conversation with you because I have a few questions.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm starting with my 3 blues.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, you can do it however you want. You know, I think the easiest way is to just do the like one color at a time. So just do all the light blue in every scale, and then you go back and do the second line on all of them, and then the third line with the darker blue.
I have too many blues.
Oh.
I mean, I have more blues than I can use, so I've got to like be careful here.
Yeah, you can use as many as you want, but I think it's a good 3 is probably a good amount. Yes. Just make sure that the lighter one is pretty light, so that way.
Yeah, I've got a pretty light one. Like, okay, let's see how this goes.
Awesome. So one thing I wanted to share is like our relationship with you, like how we came to know you. Well, I came to meet you because I know my husband Tom has met you way before I did. During the world travels at Womex and more. And like, you know, you guys have crossed over paths in so many places around the world. I was asking my husband, how many countries have you overlapped with Catalina? He's like, oh my God, I lost count, really.
Yeah.
He says, as world travelers and music lovers that you guys are, it's just an amazing thing that you guys kind of crossed over each other quite a bit.
Yeah, I think of all the things I'm missing right now, that's one of them. Certainly having to deal with the loss of the traveling.
Yes.
So yeah, for those that I'm sure this is a little bit less familiar to many, the world music community around the world, the global music community convenes in a number of places around the world, but every year, almost always for sure, at the World Music Expo, which for short is WOMEX. And that's held in it's European-based, it's Berlin-based, and it's held in a different European city every year. So you can imagine, this is, I went for the first time, because of my interest and love for Spain, I went to Sevilla because it was going to be in Sevilla 3 years in 2006. And, you know, it was like Sevilla. Yeah, I'm there for the, whatever this Womex thing is. But it was I felt like I had met my tribe. It's like, oh, these are my people. Or where have you been all this time? They were music lovers. They were culture lovers. They were activists, because hardly no one gets into global music just for the love of music, or just certainly not for the love of money, but to share and this is Global Kirky Tom's Festival, along with Neil Copperman. I mean, it's to share and to bring people together, to share cross-cultural perspectives through the music. So that was the year that a Chicago and now NEA member of like the Chicago music, the founder of our World Music Festival, said, you know, well, I'm putting together, literally, I'm renting a whole apartment building in Sevilla for U.S. Womex attendees. And so I signed on, and that apartment was legend. I mean, because it was, the whole building was full of Womex attendees, mostly from the United States. It included Tom, and included presenters. That means programmers for world music festivals or venues. It included some press members. It included, including myself, it included a few musicians. But so there we were in an apartment building that was all us in Sevilla, on a plaza in the older part, with a bar and a restaurant downstairs. The owners, this is like the most epic, you know, the owners owned the building and the bar. And so the breakfasts were held in the bar restaurant, which is a very common combo in in Spain. And there we were, and then the music was unbelievable. So that was the world that I entered and met Tom, and at that time I think it was Global Kirky was very young, maybe a couple of years old, and so it took me a while to actually make it out to Albuquerque, and I started having this incredibly every year longer list of places that I had to go every year. And Global Kirky became one of them. After the first time I went, I kind of totally fell in love with Tom's work there. I mean, just to be able to experience that quality of music in like a day and a half, and to be able to experience, you know, New Mexico skies and the wonderful, even the food vendors and the crafts vendors at the festival were really specially curated and chosen, and so that's the story of that beginning. And soon thereafter met Jade, and we're like, oh, soul sisters.
I know, we're instant friends.
Yeah, and I think I met you because you did the poster the first year that I was there, or one of the first. I mean, it was just kind of.
Yeah, that's how my husband and I met, actually, because I did the poster for Global Kirky. I went to see Lila Downs at the festival, and we met there. That festival has gotten so many connections. It's unbelievable. Like, just to see like how many people have gotten to know each other, and you know, through music, and another proof how culture and music from all different cultures is able to bring people together. And I think that's a perfect example. Like how you and I connected is just like a small example of that, but I see it over and over happen like all the time, and I think it's so much fun to like. We have made it a tradition that when the festival is over, Catalina hangs out. She has done some interviews, right? You do interviews to artists?
Interviews and emceeing sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tom's asked me to MC. It's been, it's just the debriefings go on till the early hours of the morning for sure.
Yeah, at night we say, okay, Catalina, we all stay in the same hotel, and we just kind of hang out and talk about like the festival, the favorite groups, all of this stuff. Is just so much fun. And but yeah, it's just such a great thing. And for you to make the trip out from Chicago is just an amazing. We love having you there, and it's just
Oh,
awesome. This year, unfortunately, it's not happening in person, but they're gonna have. And you're participating in this, Catalina, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
in
yeah.
the live
The
broadcast.
cross-cultural.
Mhm.
It's got a not. It's got a. I can look it up. It's got a name. You know what I'm discovering, Jade? I can't talk and color at the same time.
Oh, really? Well,
Cross-cultural crossover. Yes, I'm going to be very behind when this is all over. So I mean, I'll do my best, but every time I start talking, I grab the wrong blue, and this is
oh,
not.
all right. Well,
No, that's okay. That's okay.
we'll
I mean, it's not your fault. I'm not
yeah.
can't multitask in this particular way. Pero bueno, no, un cuento muy largo, pero nos conocimos a Tom lo conocí en Womex, la exposición de la música del mundo en Sevilla hace muchos años. Y hay todo un cuento de cómo sucedió todo eso. Y a Jay la conocí poco después en Albuquerque, en Globalquerque, que es el festival, que es lindísimo. Ese festival me encanta.
Sí, es muy bonito cómo viene gente de todo el mundo realmente a tocar su música, compartir su cultura. Es una cosa muy, muy, muy especial, realmente. Y ha creado muchísimas conexiones en la comunidad y también ha creado oportunidades para muchas personas también, ¿verdad?
Definitivamente, yo creo que se han dado a conocer, o sea, es interesante porque lo que uno no se da cuenta es que traer a alguien de, no sé, de África o de la India es carísimo, ¿no?
Ujú.
Entonces se unen varios festivales, por ejemplo, Globalquerque, Chicago y varios otros, Los Ángeles, y esa es la manera en la que pueden traer el artista, porque realmente los artistas, sobre todo los que vienen de muy lejos, si necesitan visas, si necesitan mucho papeleo, porque si no, pues no se puede.
Ajá.
Entonces, I'm sorry you're going to hear sirens. I'm in Chicago. I'm not in a beautiful, bucolic Placitas, New Mexico.
You, you have a standing invitation, Catalina, anytime.
Oh, yeah, we need to figure that out. Need to
But
figure that
but yeah, what you were saying is so important. That how how like many festivals get together, many world music festivals around the country get together to be able to bring artists that that are touring, because the expense for them is just it's so much, and so festivals get together to like have artists be showcased and play their music, and they go like from one festival to another throughout the month of September, and that's when Global Kirky teams up with other festivals to say, it's kind of like a group curated situation.
Yeah,
It's not only
yeah.
one thing that is just for Global Kirky. It's like a group national thing that goes on, and it's pretty intricate and complex.
It is. It really definitely is. But I have to say that the other thing that happens that's real special at Global Kirky is that there's always like a very, there's definitely an effort to bring in native and indigenous musicians. So you get a sense of that. You get a sense of New Mexico musicians.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating cross-cultural crossover. So it's a special fest. I can't wait till we see it live again. But I do think that it's going to be this cross-cultural crossover event. It's going to be pretty fabulous. September 30th. I'll put a plug in for that.
Yeah, September 30th, you guys. Like, it's called globalkirky.org, and it's gonna be broadcast live. They're also on Facebook to Global Kirky, and it's gonna be a part of Global Music Month. And so there's gonna be a lot of festivals that are going to be broadcasting a lot of different artists from throughout the world. They're actually in their home countries recording, like music for your enjoyment. So please try to check in worldmusicmonth.com, and also with the individual festivals as well, like Albuquerque. So yeah, it's gonna be, I don't know how many. I think it's like about eight or something like that are involved in it.
You know, I don't know, but I know I'm involved in two different broadcasts. One is the Global Cricket broadcast, and the other is part of the World Music Institute in New York, which is going to present, amongst other things, an interview. I'm interviewing La Dama, and this is happening throughout the month, and La Dama went to Global Cricket too. So there's going to be some fabulous. I have to say that it's been hard because the digital world doesn't quite, to me, usually doesn't make up for the live music.
Sure.
But some events, and I think this month is going to be a series of them, are really special. They're like unique and they're one-off, and they're not just somebody, doing an online concert. It's going to be pretty cool. Very cool, actually.
Yes, and the cool part about it too, like you say, you can't really change the live experience of having like incredible live musicians like coming from Africa or China, Japan, or like all of these amazing places. But one of the things is that we're playing with what we have, really. Like I think that everybody is trying to figure it out at this time, and I think it's such a gift that people are putting the time into creating something that gives you access to this wonderful world, even though if it's online, that's all we have at this time. So might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. I think I miss the communion. And I think that's why it's nice. I'm seeing some people are chatting here. Hi, hola, Irene. Hi, everybody. I think that you can't get a lot of, sweaty body communion online, but at least you have things like comments, and that's kind of cool. And then you also have the world listening it. It's not just who can make it, but the entire. I think when we go back live, I think we're going to be doing like a hybrid, meaning we're going to realize that we can also stream very effectively and reach the rest of the world too, even though some of us might have a possibility of being live, being there live.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're right. Exploring all of this, we're all pushing boundaries. We're all kind of like seeing, like I was thinking to myself, why didn't I do this before? You know what I mean? Like I was just thinking, like it's pushing me to do things that like I want to teach. I want to like have more put more creativity out into the world, and I think that's probably one of the positive sides. Es uno de los lados positivos de COVID-19, ¿no? De que ahora que tenemos un espacio en el que ha sido más accesible, podemos utilizar esas plataformas para enseñar, utilizarlas para poder poner más belleza y creatividad en el mundo.
No, y tener un alcance mucho mayor, ¿no? Porque puedes difundirlo en muchos espacios y con mucha gente de todo el mundo. Y tú sabes que el problema con mi sirena, estoy viendo la tuya, qué linda se ve. El problema con lo mío es que primero mis primeros azules, los dos oscuros resultaron casi idénticos, pero eso ya lo cambié. Pero también que estoy viendo que so I have to make these little like moons like at the bottom. See, like I went too even. And then
okay.
No, I'm just sharing these tips for the future.
Do you want to show us? Do you?
Yeah. I mean, what happens is I should have kept like a little moon. Also, my paper isn't that good, so it's spreading a little, which is frustrating. Pero también es que I didn't keep this like. I'm seeing like the shape. I went too fat on each one, pero ahí va. Pero que veas.
A ver.
Wait. Oh, there we go. ¿Ves?
Ay, no, se ve linda. No, está súper bien.
A la distancia. Pero ves, los primeros, lo que pasa es que los dos azules se parecieron mucho. So I had to switch my two blues. My two darker blues. Uno parecía que era más morado, but it wasn't. O por lo menos en esta página no sé, ya no pareció morado.
But do you see what I mean, though? Like when you have like and for everyone, I hope that you guys are joining us in drawing. We're watching like the comments coming in. If you want to ask any questions or like I'll be happy to answer. any questions for Catalina also. We can see the comments coming in. So anyway, so here we have, that's the reason why I wanted to do like the different shades, so you can start seeing how, like when you see it from far away a little bit, you can see how like the scales kind of like overlap each other.
Because the blue becomes like a background is what it has.
Yes, the blue becomes like it's a shade from the scale over the other one. So
that is cool. It's very,
yeah, you're doing a good job, Catalina. It's looking great.
I think yeah, the classes have been great, and I've enjoyed very much the that you always give like a cultural background to like, and the sirena is so important in Mexico. It's such a iconic, legendary figure, and you see it, in so much art. So it's great. La sirena del mar, ¿no? Y por eso la canción de Noé y sus santos, ¿no? Fíjate, Noé es un grupo de Nuevo México y ella es de Honduras, pero es que la sirena es como mítica en muchas partes.
Sí, and I didn't say this, you guys. Like the song, I did credit them in the beginning when I showed the picture of the mermaid. But the first song that I showed when this class started, it was Noe y sus Santos, which is a really great band, like Catalina says, based here in New Mexico, and they're really cool. I didn't mention that. I should have said it. I was too excited to just let you know who they are. They're amazing. I'm hoping I can have Noe in my here in my class. I'll be right back.
So this is, I have a plant growing out of my head, everybody, but I was trying to show you the CDs.
That's one of the things that you and Tom, my husband, you guys have just so much access to good music, and it's just amazing. Did you get like people send you CDs in the mail and stuff?
Yeah, although I now really ask for digital. I mean, I'm a digital person. I'm trying to figure out, what to do with all the CDs, but I kind of love the digital world, but that's me. A lot of people, press included, really want physical still, but not me. I like searching easily and having playlists, and
Yes, well,
it's just kind of like, yeah.
One of the things, you guys, like when you go to her website and her Facebook page, she has actually like all of the programs are like archived in order, so you can go see like by week, right, Catalina?
Yeah, after they air, I put the podcast, put them in podcast form, and there's a playlist of the songs of the week, as well as there's links to the artists, usually their Facebook or their Twitter, and then there's also links to that actual song so that you can hopefully purchase it, because although everybody gets some kind of funds from streaming, they certainly, any musical artist will make more usually from if you buy it. And I'm trying now to switch that all over to Bandcamp, and not to plug. I write for Bandcamp every now and then, but I started buying, whenever I bought music, I would buy it through them, because artists were telling me they got like a bigger chunk. So I think that's very cool to support an artist through Bandcamp if they have a Bandcamp page, because then you can actually, more of that money goes to them. The other thing I really like is that Bandcamp now in COVID times is doing something called, I think it's called, I don't know, something on Fridays, but the first Friday of every month, they actually give the entire revenue to the artist whose music is purchased that day. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you want to support an artist in particular, go to Bandcamp, find them and they have a Bandcamp page, then find them there and support them especially in these times, the first Friday, it all goes to them. So that's cool.
Awesome, Catalina. Thank you for sharing that, because that's one of the things, that is not a people's radar. And for you to share that is awesome, because right now, COVID actually, like, professionally, the people who got most affected by it is people who perform live, like theater, dance, concerts, musicians, festivals, all of that. So that's really good. I'm so glad that you said that, so that way people can, if you have the chance to support any musicians in the way Catalina just said, please do. It's just a really great thing to do, is to support their art. And that's how, many of them, that's how they make their living. So
Right. And I think also, we don't even realize this, and I'm not even sure how to go about helping, but everybody that was in the background, sound engineers, stage managers, people that were in the background, but without them, the show did not happen. They are also, really hurting. These are tough times for sure.
Yes, you're right. Like I just seen even though I get to see like all of the like global quirky behind the scenes stuff, like it's really good that you say that, because I wasn't really.
I had kind of lost track of that, and then somebody mentioned it, and I was like, wow, I had not thought. You think of the venue itself, the venue owners, the festival programmers, the musicians, of course, the artists, the actors, but then what about, everybody that helps them put the show on? There's no shows. So, and it's not like they can go do any of that on the virtual platforms. So that's just kind of like, yeah.
Oh my God. One thing, one thing that I really wanted to ask you, Catalina, and I have never asked you, like, the whole time, like, we've been in the same space talking and stuff. How did you get involved in music and wanting to do radio?
Oh, that's it. So I've always loved music. I'm actually a linguist by training, so that's the other half of my world is languages and linguistics and translation and interpreting, interestingly enough. So it's kind of like I'm a little bit of a double agent. I live a dual life, but I love them. The language and the music, they're always intersecting, and the translation and the music, and it's just amazing. So it's worked out well. But at some point, many, many years ago, the St. Louis had a community radio station, KDHX. And at the time, it's a long story, but they'd lost their license, and it had been very hard to get the license back. I think it took perhaps a decade. I mean, a long time. And when they got it back, somebody that knew my family was all excited, and they were talking to us about it. And we were like, well, you better get a Latin music show on, the air. And they were like, well, we don't really have any Latin music in our collection, or very little. And I'm like, well, hey, I love music, so I have a collection, and this is like vinyl times. CDs were just beginning, maybe cassettes even. I'm dating myself, but so I said, just take my music and put it on, separate some time for the Latin music show, right? And then and just do, because if you don't separate the time out, it's much harder to change afterwards sometimes. But once you've got a block, then it can keep going. So then they're like, but we don't really have a DJ. And I'm like, well, I'll do it till you find somebody, right? So that was the beginning. Then I come to find out I have a good radio voice, which was not something I knew. But I'm actually going to Spanish. Cuando hice mi primer programa de radio, que suponía, yo era como medio estaba haciéndolo porque yo tenía la música, mientras esta estación de radio comunitaria encontraba a quien más lo hiciera. Me estaba ayudando, estábamos yéndonos a una torre en medio de como el campo, porque no tenían todavía ni edificio, pero bueno, ahí estábamos, y me estaba acompañando un primo mío que estaba de México, de 16 años, que estaba de visita y aprendiendo inglés. Y él me manejaba porque era tarde, ¿no? Entonces, la primera vez que fuimos, él estaba en el coche y puso sintonizó la estación de radio para escuchar. Y fue el primer programa. Y me acuerdo que salí y dice, ay, güey, tienes voz de mujer bonita.
He said that to you. I
Ay,
love
güey, tienes voz de mujer bonita. And so my cousin, the first time he heard me, he was 16. He's like, very first time he heard me over the air, he said, man, you've got the voice of a pretty woman. I
it.
wasn't sure if that was like a compliment or not, but
What do you mean? I'm a pretty woman already.
I mean, it was just funny because it turned out that I just, people were like, no, you're fine. Just stay doing it because, you're doing it well. And I loved it. And so that was like the beginning. It was not a plan, but I've never looked back. That's become, one of my parts of my musical life and a very important part. And there is something very special about going on the air, even today in podcast times.
Yes.
Even though radio is not perhaps got the reach in some ways that it might have had previously, it's still such a beautiful medium and can be so important. So important.
You were so good at it too. Like, like one thing is that I shared on my post, and I know that you're not like you do some work for NPR too, right? Like you have done some journalism for them for music.
Yeah, I do like NPR Music and NPR News. I've done some I've done some pieces with them or collaborated. If you probably are familiar, and if you're not, you should become familiar with NPR's Alt Latino, ALT, Alt Latino. That's hosted by a good friend and colleague, Felix Contreras. But it's really a wonderful place to find. He manages a very special space, which is kind of not just the super, with attention to the mainstream, but certainly attention to cultural concepts, attention to indie artists, and it's a great show, Alt Latino, NPR's Alt Latino, and I've been fortunate to be able to occasionally collaborate with them, either writing for the blog or being invited on the show, or semi co-hosting, often like recaps after being at a conference like South by Southwest, which is huge. So there's no way one person could ever cover it all in in even a longer show. So things like that. Felix would ask me and another wonderful colleague, Marisa Arbona Ruiz, for example, different, to like, we'd always be like, texting back and forth, and this is great. And we'd kind of divvy stuff up and divvy interviews up. So that way, between the three of us, in that case, for South by Southwest, we could really do a better job of covering and sharing music and interviews. And and in fact, recently, not yet published or aired, we did this year, of course, everything's virtual. So, and a lot of festivals just went to next year, aren't doing a virtual thing. And so we used to have every year, end of the summer festival recap. And we would do like the LAMC, the Latin Alternative Music Conference in New York, and Ruido Fest in Chicago, and Nuevo Fest in Philadelphia, and just kind of share the summer events related to Latin and Latinx music. And kind of, again, some of them we would all attend, others like the Chicago or the Philly, we'd divvy up, and then come together at the end of the summer and recap them. Well, this summer, not a lot. So really just the LAMC, the Latin Alternative Music Conference, which was virtual in June. And so that show will be coming out pretty soon on NPR's Alt Latino. And yeah.
Oh, I look forward to it. The one that I really enjoyed was the one that you did on the El Búho.
Oh, that was NPR News, which that was so awesome. That project. I love that project. So I'll share it real quick. I love it when somebody can connect the dots between music and activism and the world and bigger picture. And so this project came on my radar in 2015. I supported it on Kickstarter, but it was too late for me to really do anything on as press because you need time. And that was El Búho, who is Robin Perkins, who is a DJ, composer, producer, and longtime activist. And he's originally from England, from a small town in England, and now lives in Paris, has lived in Amsterdam, Mexico City, Buenos Aires. Entonces el búho, que habla español perfectamente, por cierto, Robin Perkins, increíble, pero como ecoactivista se le ocurrió en algún momento unir los mundos de la composición electrónica y el canto de aves. So he started this project where he literally brought together electronic musicians and electronic composer producers and birds that were in danger or threatened, in danger of being of being lost to the world, en vías de extinción. So the first one was a guide to the birds of South America, and that was a series of composers, electronic, mixing in the bird song of their country, but it was a bird that was in danger of extinction or threatened. And now the last one that just came out is a guide to the bird song of Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. And this time I found out about it in time. So I was like, yes, this is like such a story. The beauty of this is these albums, any proceeds from those albums will actually, all of it goes to support organizations in those countries that are helping preserve those birds in different ways. So whether it's the black catbird in Central America, and there's a song by the Garifuna Collective, who I know I'm pretty sure has been to Global Kirky. Amazing.
Yes, they have.
Amazing. And whether it's that particular or, the Nicaraguan, the Guardabarranco, and organizations that will, keep the Guardabarranco, the national bird of Nicaragua, alive and sustainable tourism. So it's got everything. Anyway, that's maybe we can share the link later.
Sure.
Because if you purchase any of that music on Bandcamp, I can tell you without a doubt, 100% of it goes to the organizations. So it's a wonderful thing that Robin Perkins did, and I love the project. And I'm like a preacher. I got to preach about it every chance I get.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I listen to it, and I'm always very interested. Like I love the whole. I'm an environmentalist myself, so I always, when I see something like that, we have common friends who do that kind of work, like Rafa.
Solar.
People who are very involved into creating awareness about the environment and how because we're deeply connected to it. Like everything is connected, and if you miss one of those links, like that, there is something that goes missing, and the more links that we lose, the more lost we are as humanity, and also as the one cell that the world is.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I always like when you share things like that, and the wonderful work that you do. It always has a mindful approach to it, but also I love it when you tap into those sort of subjects also through music that brings another layer to your work.
We need to find one on the bees, because certainly your work, I mean, we all know bees are important, but your work really, speaking of eco activism and the art, Jade, your work on the bee connection has made me so aware of that too, so aware of that, the importance of their work for our world. We need to find somebody who'll write some songs about bees.
That's a thought. So I didn't want to do like the whole thing, because I just, like I said, I don't want to like keep you here forever, but like I just wanted to outline the edge so that you can see how you can kind of see like the contrast part of it. Like how this color here is completely opposite than all the colors that you see. This is a warm color.
Uh-huh.
This is a color that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why I wanted to do that. Just sort of like, if you guys want to finish like the background, so you can see like whoever is participating in this drawing, and you, Catalina, just kind of finishing like the background, you'll get to see really like what the contrast is. And it's a lot easier when you're doing it with a brush. Like when we start painting.
Where is it? There we go. I'm working on it. Mira.
So I just wanted to, kind of bring up that a little bit, just so that way, because I just keep on changing colors and stuff. But I chose like a really bright orange color, so that way you can see how it really brings. I have a few mermaid paintings that have this sort of coloring, so that just wanted to explain how, because I know there's like at least 4 or 5 people who want to take classes with me more seriously, and they want to learn more how to like combine color and stuff like that, some composition too. So I just want to explain a little bit about like why the colors, and we have done this over and over, like background towards the, what's the difference between having, when you have like this sort of color and then you choose a different background, so your subject is a lot stronger than it if it didn't have, like if I did like a green background, it wouldn't be as strong. It's good to have contrast. So anyway, but that's so awesome, Catalina. I feel that like we all are in this planet for a reason, and we all have a voice. We all have, like I have a little voice, and but I think that if I am able to utilize my humble voice to be able to share something and to create awareness about a certain thing, like unity, and como utilizar la voz nuestra, aunque sea una voz muy pequeña. La mía es una voz muy pequeña, pero por lo menos tratar de utilizarla a una escala pequeña, en tratar de crear conciencia sobre la naturaleza, sobre la humanidad, cómo somos, todas las personas somos iguales, no tenemos diferencia porque hablamos distinto o tenemos un color diferente
Claro.
de piel. So it's a good thing to have always that awareness that how, even though we speak differently or we have a different accent, or we're all the same, like really, like. So I try to do that as much as possible, and I think you do as well, Catalina. It's just different mediums.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the point of it all, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just
Oye,
sharing.
Jade, tengo los dedos llenos de. How do you end up with
¿Se te llenaron de tinta?
llenos de tinta?
Well, with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, if you have some, it'll come off.
Okay.
Let me turn this over, you guys. Let me see. So, so I just wanted to show you guys, like, that was a mermaid here. How you doing, Catalina? You still
I'm wait a minute. It's
awesome?
happening.
Sure.
Más o menos. Esto. There we go.
I typically like my mermaids with a dark skin because I like to have, sort of like the Yemaya feel. Like I like to have like the Caribbean, like the Orisha stuff,
Right.
like the mermaids in the Orisha culture. She's a goddess. She's a goddess of the water and the oceans, and she is like really cool. And she's a black mermaid, and so yeah, I typically like painting her with a darker skin. But I think this is I couldn't find the right shade on my little coloring things that I have. But anyway, so yeah, let me share here really quick. People have some. Sandra saying hello. Hi, Sandra.
Oh, hi.
Good to see
And
you.
please post link. Okay.
My husband saying, I love you, Catalina.
Awesome.
Sandra, she's a friend who wanted to meet you last year at Global Kirk. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen because we were busy or whatever. But
I know I was in Portugal.
Sorry. You were Portugal. That's right.
Sorry about that. That was the one I missed. It was just like
Yeah,
every now and then someone makes an offer I can't refuse.
and something, I'm hoping that we can go, and this is a conversation for a different time, but Womex is happening in Portugal next
I
year.
know.
So that's something to start thinking
We'll
about.
be there, yes, if all goes well.
Yes, our friend Rob Martinez, Catalina, I think you got to see when I had
He's always in the drawing classes too, but he's a ringer. He can draw.
or
I
he saw
can tell. I can tell. He knows how to draw. He already knows how to draw.
he's a really good friend, and he also talking about like northern New Mexico music. He's one of the people who are preserving it. Like him and his family are from that tradition, from
Uh-huh.
like musicians, and he's amazing. If you have the time to check out his music, I don't know if you have, you might have. So
I just watched one. I think he played a little bit that day that
yes,
he was on. Yeah.
yeah, he's really cool. But anyway, so yeah, he says hello. Hola,
Hola, Rob.
Teresa, my aunt Teresa.
Hola, Teresa.
Yeah, she actually she's my relative from in California, Catalina. Like I didn't know my father's family, and she found me. She found me. She is my father's cousin. I'll tell you that another
I
time.
saw some pictures, I think you put on Facebook.
Yeah,
Amazing
it's just
pictures,
incredible.
family pictures.
Yeah,
So beautiful. So
I can't wait
beautiful.
to meet them in person because COVID hit right after that. But anyway, so yeah, hi Teresa. It's good to
Hola,
see you.
Teresa.
So yeah, this is a wonderful thing. I'm going to put in here some of Catalina's information, you guys. Beatlatino.com. We also have, I have her.
You know what I'm going to do is put, which I think if people want to take a peek, should I put it in the, where should I put it? Jade?
What
Because it doesn't look
what would
like
you
I
like
can
to
add
put?
a comment. I was trying to, I'll text it to you and you can just copy it, right?
Yes,
No?
yes, sure.
We
And
love this world. This is my, sorry. This is the NPR author page. So the bird song piece is there. The NPR Latino co-hosting it's all there. So that, and because I know you already have the beatlatino.com,
yes,
but
yes.
that's the author page and so that is kind of, and I'm gonna, because we've mentioned it, it's called First Friday. And I think like, I'm pretty sure Noé Susantos, I'm pretty sure on Bandcamp, the Sirena song you heard at the beginning. So I'm going to hear, this is the First Friday. If you do, that is the Bandcamp Fridays. If you buy the artist music that day, they will actually get it all the money. So that they have literally given, and I don't know the actual figures, but it's millions and millions and millions of dollars because they started the First Fridays like in March or April with the COVID time. So it's a really, and I'm pretty sure, I'll just check real quick.
Awesome.
I
Yeah,
think that's just kind of like cool. No, let me see if I can find them. That just because I think, yeah. Here we go.
okay.
So I will share this too with you so
Sure.
that, because that was such a cool song and so perfect.
Yes, I will
Yeah.
be sharing these links, you guys, on the comments. Please go on there, and they're gonna be like after we end this broadcast. I'm gonna share it, so please make sure that you visit that. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful time. It's just Catalina. It's such an honor for me to have you here, and sharing this time. I love you as a friend, as a person, and your work is so crucial. Like, thank you for everything you do, and for the world music community, and also for sharing all of your knowledge, and all of your research, and all of your music, that all of the artists, all the support that you do to all of the artists that you interview, and for placing
Thank
a
you.
focus
Yeah.
on Latin
Yeah.
culture. It's such a wonderful, vibrant community, and you do it in such a beautiful way. It's so wonderful. And for you to be taking my drawing classes is such an honor to really.
I've gotten better. Really.
Yeah,
There she
awesome.
goes. She's amazing.
It looks good. So I'll be posting a picture of this mermaid. I'll keep on working now on it. And if you guys want to share, please do. You can.
Are all the videos up, Jade, that they can look at from the previous? Oh, I don't think you can see it, but this was
Which one is that one?
cool one.
That's
This is the snail. Pero no se ve bien. El corazón was really, oh, wait a minute. I don't know. There. I love this one. So you should, yeah, I think I appreciate so much what you did too. I mean, all your work, but also such a thing for, such an important thing to find respite in art and music in these times. So for you to share your gift and teach us a little bit and give us, it's just been amazing. So thank you. Oh, look, Tom put in a bunch of bee songs. We got to do a bee playlist. Yo. Honey bee.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh, stinging me. Okay.
Yeah, I really know, Scott. Thank you so much, Catalina. To end this, I'm going to end with Noe Santos' song again, so that we will fade out of that. And thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. I'm going to be posting this picture. Please share when you have time. I would love to see what you do with your colors and that. And get ready. I'm going to be posting pretty soon materials, just humble materials that you can order online to start painting. I'm gonna teach you how to gesso canvases and how to do patinas and all that. So yeah, get ready for that. Thank you, Catalina.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys. Take care. Thanks for being here. Let me put the song here. Noe Santos. Here. Quick.
A la orilla del mar me encontré una sirena. A la orilla del mar me encontré una sirena. Ella me ofreció su corazón, yo le di todo mi amor. Ella me ofreció su corazón, yo le di todo mi amor. A la orilla del mar me encontré una sirena. A la orilla del mar me encontré una sirena. Ella me ofreció su corazón, yo le di todo mi amor. Ella me ofreció su corazón, yo le di todo mi amor.